welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how you doing tonight?
I am so excited about tonight's episode, Jeff. A great destination we're talking about.
Well, we're going to talk about Adventures by Disney. We've done a couple of Adventures by Disney shows, so we're going to give you a little bit of an intro as to what Adventures is for those of you that are not familiar with this particular vacation type. But we wanted to talk about it tonight because there's a new experience, an Adriatic Sea Expedition that we're going to go to in detail, and I'm really excited to hear about it.
I was ecstatic when they announced this. I will say it just opened for booking 2 days ago for 3-time plus adventure insiders. And I was on the phone right away first thing in the morning to secure my cabin because this is going to sell out quickly.
Well, and I know in addition to the show, obviously, you know, you are the Disney master. You run Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. So you have different groups throughout all different social media where you talk about this type of vacation, the Adventures vacation. So I'm going to ask you to give a little plug for that for folks that have some questions. But first, give us a little bit of information about the different types of adventures that this Adventures by Disney branch of Disney vacationing offers.
And I do think that this is one of the best kept secrets. I run into people all the time who've never heard of Adventures, people whose parent company is owned by Disney, people who are regular Disney vacationers. And I don't know why it is such a well-kept secret because I shout it from the rooftops whenever I can.
That's true.
It has been around for 17 years. And people who are listening who have heard of it are going to go, really, that long? Most of you who know that it's been around would never have guessed 17 years. And it started with just two, what we call now land-based adventures, Wyoming and Hawaii. Sadly, Hawaii didn't make it for long, but Wyoming, 17 years later, has one of the most departures of any adventure, definitely of their U.S. adventures. And those two were kind of the test market to see, how does it work? Do people get Disney-style service and storytelling when it's not connected to a park? Can we take them to a non-Disney vacation where there is definitely no sign of Mickey Mouse? And can we brand it Disney and make it something that those Disney files are going to love? And the answer, obviously, 17 years later is yes. They quickly ramped up. They went from those 2 destinations to 7 the following year, 12 the year after, 17 the year after. Today, they have over 50 destinations, and they actually divide into what I call 5 kind of divisions or vacation types. So just like we talk about picking the right Disney resort, picking the right type of adventure now is something that's really important because not all adventures are created equal.
Well, when you say that, you know, you talked about these specific land adventures. You know, that's changed. We're going to talk a little bit about something on the Adriatic Sea tonight, but what other types of adventures, you know, have they done? Have they done stuff on different bodies of water? What are we looking at?
You bet. And if you check the show notes, I'll put a link to some of our previous adventure episodes, including the one all about river cruising, which if you listen to that, you will know that before I did my first river cruise 5 years ago with Adventures, I had never river cruised, and now I love it. I've done 3 river cruises with them all over in Europe, and they are phenomenal, but very different than the land-based adventures.
Right.
They also offer what's called a private adventure. You can go to select standard adventure destinations, but just for your small group of 8 to 12 people. Maybe you don't want to travel with strangers and you just want, grandma wants just her kids and her grandkids. You can do a private adventure.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, they teamed up with Ponant and they added expeditions. And although, again, it is one category, it is very diverse within that category. It allowed them to now say they travel to every continent, because one of the expeditions goes to Antarctica. The expedition we're going to talk about tonight is Croatia. And then lastly, this year they came out with the absolute ultimate vacation, Adventures by Disney Private Jet. And let me just say, I've been buying a lottery ticket every week since then with no luck. But the private jet is just as it sounds. And I know we're going to hear amazing things coming, because this 23-night around the world trip, where you do fly on this private jet to all of these destinations all over the world, sold out literally in the blink of an eye. And so I know we're going to see it again, and I bet you we're going to see a variation on the private jet as well. So lots of opportunity to travel with a world leader, to travel with somebody who is all about your security and global security, but also somebody who's about being authentic and getting you into the story and out of your comfort zone and trying new things. There isn't a better way to travel the world than Adventures by Disney.
Well, and if we have any listeners that are in the private jet interest group, so to speak, please contact Sandy over at Easy Diz and tell him you'd really like your favorite podcast host, Jeff, to join you on this private jet, and you're willing to pay for him to come to, because I really think that would be a fun experience we could broadcast throughout the show. Don't you think?
It would be. I think they might have to settle for hearing from me from my expedition, which, as I said, I just booked. If you'd like to join me June 25th, 2024, I will be on that expedition. I will also be on the land-based Norway adventure in August of 2023. So 10 adventures behind me, many to still come.
There you go. All right, but let's talk about the specific adventure we are here to talk about tonight. And, we had talked about when you had started the show, talking about how this began as a land adventure base program. This one is certainly not based on the land. This one is in the Adriatic Sea. So in order to do that, there needs to be a hotel that is floating, so to speak. So tell us about that floating hotel.
I'd love to. And I think it may be one of the reasons that I love the river cruising and the expedition so much. If you follow us on social, you've probably seen that typically my luggage might be what people assume is for a family of 3 to 5 people. And when you're on a land-based adventure, typically you will stay at 2 to 3 different resorts, and Disney makes it super easy. You just leave your luggage by the door and they pick it up and then they get it back to your next room. But when you're in a floating hotel, I'm going to arrive in Venice, board our beautiful ship, and unpack and be in one room for the entire week. So this ship, again, this is in partnership with Ponant, who is known for what we call expedition cruising. That means going into some of the smaller areas where you need to have little Zodiac boats to take you in even deeper than the actual ship might, and Zodiacs to take you up, not on this expedition, but for instance, on Antarctica, through the glacial floats and things like that. The ship is really incredibly designed. It is 5 decks, 90 staterooms, so substantially smaller than any Disney cruise ship you've been on. But interestingly, bigger than the river cruise ships that Disney is working with. So we get 2 restaurants instead of 1 like we have on river cruises. And one of the big additions that I think we'll see and enjoy is there's a theater on board. So they'll do stage shows and presentations in the comfort of a theater. The ship is also known for its sauna, which is open to everybody.
Which I'm sure you're really not looking forward to at all.
It's going to be a tough sell for me. Which of these four things is going to be my favorite?
Sure.
Whether it's going to be the sauna, the spa itself, the panoramic pool
Yeah.
down on the float deck, that just incredible looking views from there. But even neater, and I have not seen this on any other ships, they have something called the Blue Eye Lounge. And it's for visual purposes, it's an eye cut out of the wall. So it's a window, but shaped like an eye.
Right.
Below the water level. So you can see the sea life swimming by. But it also has a special sound system. So if there's dolphins swimming by and they're talking to each other, you're going to hear them in this lounge.
All right, so let's break down what's included, because there's obviously questions to be had about anytime you board a floating hotel or a cruise ship. What exactly is included in this particular adventure while you're on board?
And this is one of the things that I love when I talk to clients about river cruises and expedition cruises versus Disney Cruise Line ocean cruises. Once you step on board, pretty much everything is going to be included. So on an ocean cruise, you'd be selecting excursions and they'd each have a price tag. Here, you're selecting excursions, but they're all included. Your meals are included. Even, as I like to call it, some mommy juice is included. They do have alcohol included in these packages, and you don't save a penny by not having a drink. One of the biggest assets that Adventures by Disney has is their adventure guide team. And you've heard me talk about them so many times because I just love every guide I've ever come in contact with, and many who remain good friends of mine today. They are the most knowledgeable, friendly, service-oriented people you ever want to meet. And they are truly your guides. They're going to be with you the entire cruise. So when you do something like an ocean cruise, or even if you were to do a river cruise or an expedition cruise without Disney, when you get to each port, generally you kind of follow a sign off the ship and you're set to go. Here, well, there are going to be locals doing the actual guiding and there are local experts sharing all the details. Every excursion that goes out has that adventure guide. So you've got somebody who knows your family, who knows the ship, who knows everything, and of course is carrying anything you might need. They're going to be the person with the first aid kits, the bottled water, the snacks, and most importantly, the cameras, because you're going to get all of your vacation photos included.
Okay, anything else included?
Unique on these ships is also a daily tea time. Just that time to relax, unwind, and of course, take in the beautiful scenery, reconnect with your family, or connect with new adventure friends that you've met.
Obviously, at this point, you're telling us all these things that are included. Where are we going? Where does this actual trip weave in and out of, as you so eloquently put it in the beginning?
It begins in Venice and also ends in Venice. Unique for me, this will be my 12th adventure, and my first adventure ended in Venice. So I'm excited to go back and see the beautiful St. Mark's Square, Murano glass, the gondolas, the mask makers. Adding pre or post nights there can be super fun. And a bonus of booking with our agency, we want to make sure nobody misses that ship. So we are going to include a complimentary pre-night stay for you in Venice.
Wow. One of my, maybe my favorite place on the planet too. So there you go. Where else? Where do we go from there?
It is headed now into Croatia and Montenegro. So we're going to head to Korčula, where we're going to have options to tour vineyards and, of course, sample, and head to the beach. We're going to head to Premostin, where we can go to the Krakama National Park, which is known for its breathtaking waterfalls. You can take a rib boat to Trauger, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's something for everybody in these ports. You can pick your level of activity, your level of history. And again, it's one of the great things about the adventure guides. Every night they will do a briefing to talk about what are we doing tomorrow? How strenuous is or isn't the hike? How far of a drive is it? How big is the bike ride? So that you're really making excellent choices for yourself.
Sounds terrific. I know that's not the end, so I guess we can just kind of run through the rest of the itinerary, like on a very surface level. Obviously, this would be something that somebody would need to get in touch with their travel specialist and dive into. But give us where we're going next.
So our next port is going to be Dubrovnik, where you can go tour the old city walls, go kayaking, wine tasting, a panoramic boat tour. And again, I have to say, if you've met me in real life or even followed some of my real life, I am not athletic. I am not adventurous. But when I get on these adventures, they get me to do things I would never do if I was in these cities by myself. I have kayaked multiple times now in Europe, and it has been a highlight of every trip. So they very purposely pick some nice calm waters so that you don't have to have great athletic prowess. It's really about that experience, being on the water, paddling down these beautiful countrysides, taking in the scenery and the sun, and creating the memories.
On to the next one.
Next, we're going to head to Kojoy, Croatia. You can go to the Lipa Caves, 1.5 miles underground cave system, sailing out on a catamaran, or to a special island called Our Lady of Rocks, which has an awesome history to it, though a little unique. They needed more land, and so in order to build this island, the reason it has the name is they took old sea ships, filled them with rocks, and sunk them so that they had a base to create this island.
That's so cool. It's so unique. You're right. All right, I know we got a couple more to round it out before we end back in Venice, as you said.
We're going to head to Var, Croatia now, where, again, you can bike the countryside, head out kayaking for the day, and there will be multiple days like this one where they do have beach expeditions. So if you really just want to sit on the beautiful beaches and swim in that gorgeous water, take one of the mornings or afternoons or full days and just take it in like a tourist.
And the last port, I think, before we go back to Venice?
The last port we're going to head to is Rovengate, where you can visit the Pajama Castle. Again, there's another set of caves you can visit and crawl through, another winery to experience, an afternoon in a museum, and our final chance to lay on those beautiful beaches.
So just an incredible itinerary, just very, very intense as far as all these different opportunities you can see there. I think one of the things that you've mentioned a couple of times when we've talked about adventures that I do want to stress to folks is I'm saying that there's this intense itinerary because there's so many options. It's not that it's intense that it'll wipe you out in a way that you can't enjoy the time. You've said it. There's options for everybody. So very, very exciting stuff.
And the nice thing with the ones that are on a ship, because obviously the ship is moving every day, but unlike the land adventures where Tuesday morning you're packing up and you're going into a city and doing something on your way to your new home Wednesday night, if you want to skip an afternoon of touring, again, visit that spa, that sauna, sit up on the top deck, soak in the sun, use the pool. It is easy to say, you know what? This is my vacation.
Right.
I want a day off.
All right, so we're at the point in the show where I ask you, what haven't we mentioned? So what are the last things you want to mention to folks that are listening that maybe this adventure would appeal to them?
I think there's a number of people that are saying, why Croatia? What does Croatia look like? What makes it different than everything else? And I'm going to go with the classic film because I know you've all seen it. Mamma Mia, all of those gorgeous ocean and beach scenes are from Croatia. So if you've ever seen that movie and thought, my gosh, that water is clear and beautiful and somewhere I want to be, this is your chance.
Well, it sounds like an amazing experience, just like a lot of these adventures do. I thank you for taking the time to explain it to us tonight. And if anybody's interested, I urge you, please reach out to the travel specialist and make it happen. Have a great week, Sandy.
You too. Thanks for having me tonight.
And that's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney destination planning. Make it a great week. And as always, keep making memories.